that. And please remember, I wrote about Osama bin Laden exactly 1 year ago, 1 year before he blew up the World Trade Center. And I said, you got to watch Osama bin Laden. And the fake news would never let me get away with that statement unless it was true. But I said 1 year before to Pete Hegseth, I said 1 year before, where's Pete? In the book, I wrote, whatever the hell the title, I can't tell you. But I can tell you there's a page in there devoted to the fact that I saw somebody named Osama bin Laden, and I didn't like it, and you got to take care of him. They didn't do it. A year later, he blew up the World Trade Center, so we got to take a little credit because nobody else is going to give it to me. You know the old story? They don't give you credit, just take it yourself.
Golly.
I don't think hummus is supposed to be left over.
Well, yeah, over a week. Hi, good morning, Rude Pundit.
You know, if it was too bad it was not guacamole, you would actually be able to tell then.
Yeah, right.
We may need to put tarp down like at a Gallagher concert for the rest of this interview.
Wow. Great.
You know, can I just say these news cycles, Rude? I don't even know what to say. You wrote a great piece about the last Crazy Pants speech, but not yesterday to the Navy, but the last one to the generals. Because, okay, I don't even know what to... Yeah, oh, by the way, this is what someone else was commenting, Allison, on Donald Trump in front of the Navy sailors on the 250th anniversary today, told him he made the White House aware of Osama bin Laden and that he should get some credit for him being killed. This man has completely lost his ever-loving mind. Yes.
Yeah. In 2000, nobody had ever heard, or 2001, nobody had ever heard of Osama bin Laden. Nobody had about the first time the World Trade Center was hit. Nobody had heard about him after, you know, the ship that was attacked. Nobody knew who he was until Donald Trump said.
Well, that would be his original treason if he knew and didn't do anything about it. Obviously. Yeah.
I seem to remember when.
Why didn't 19-year-old Pete Hegseth do anything about it? Then?
Right. At Princeton. I seem to remember back when Osama bin Laden blew up some buildings, I believe in Kenya.
Yes.
The Stephanie Miller Show did a comedy bit about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was in the late 90s. So we had heard of him.
Yeah. Everybody knew about Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
in fact, that's what isn't that what Clinton told Bush was that's who you're going to have to watch out for?
Yes. And Bush was like, nah.
Yeah.
Whatever. BJ boy, you got a BJ. Forget it. I'm not listening.
Can I just say though, probably the gayest thing I may have ever seen a president do is dance to YMCA in front of a bunch of sailors.
Seamen. Yeah, in front of seamen.
In front of a bunch of seamen. Yeah. I mean, it was. He was there doing his, you know, double hand job dance, and all the seamen were like thrilled about it.
All right, let's just stop because I feel like I've enabled you. I know, but you know what? Like I'm like setting a spike for, you know, filthy hobo, and he's going to just run with it. Okay, so you said Trump and Hegseth made the world weirder and more dangerous. Yes, can we just acknowledge the weirdness again of all of it?
It's just so, the whole speech was so weird. Both of them. Right. Hegseth's speech hasn't got, except for the fat part, hasn't gotten nearly as much attention, but it was just as weird.
It was.
This pathetic little guy out there trying to be all, you know, roid rage in front of these generals who all of whom, no matter how fat they are, could have broken him in half a couple of fingers.
Yeah, and he does pull-ups like a girl. Okay.
He does. He kicks his.
I say that as a girl.
He kicks his feet when he does pull-ups.
You break things and kill people, and we want to be as violent as possible. It's just like, oh, shut up, you fake alpha, right? I mean, it just. Like, by the way, Chris Lavoie does that axe throwing thing.
Yeah.
He's actually gone to the bar where you throw the axe. Did you see Pete Hegseth try to do it on Fox and Friend, and he missed it?
He
went into the street. It went into the street. I'm like, oh Jesus!
I hit the target every time, and I hit the bullseye quite a few times. I'm actually good at axe throwing.
They had this thing set up outside, and he throws it, and it goes over the thing and into the street. You're like.
Yeah. My favorite Pete Hegseth moment though on his Fox show was when he tried skateboarding and just slapped himself in the nards right there when he stepped on the
so
skateboard.
Manly. So manly.
God.
I like the drinking games. Didn't they do, wasn't he like drinking a bunch of times on Fox and Friends? They were having,
I'm sure it was in his contract.
Yes, of course. You said I had to feel a little sorry for whatever generals made the 15-hour flight from South Korea to D.C. to have a pissant little TV bitch tell them that they're fat and then watch a barely awake president blather about his signature and his problem walking downstairs when he wasn't talking about how awesome it would be for troops to kill Americans in the city streets of the U.S. I mean, oh my God, Rude. Just the whole thing, right? Let's use the city streets as the training grounds for the military. You're just like, ah.
Yeah. Well, training them for what exactly?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I want to ask them. What are you training them for? Because, first of all, most combat now is conducted by drones and not troops on the ground.
Yeah.
And the troops on the ground just are there to clean up after. And so it's like it doesn't. First of all, it doesn't matter what shape you're in to sit in a trailer and launch drones at somebody.
Oh my God! And meanwhile, this guy's the commander in chief, and you're talking about who's fat. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and then Trump's there saying we're going to build battleships. No, you're not. We don't need. Nobody does battleships anymore.
Maybe he meant the game. Maybe he meant the old game, Battleship. Twister.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, by the way, Heather Cox Richardson, I think, was the one that said him talking about walking. It sounded like he was repeating instructions from his doctor about walk carefully and slowly.
Slowly, hold on to the banisters. Take one step at a time. You don't need to impress everyone. You just need to make it down the stairs without falling like an idiot.
Yeah. You said Pete Hegseth, a drunk who beat his wife. Is that alleged? I don't know. I think it was in a legal complaint. For the forced gathered leadership of the U.S. military yesterday veered between embarrassingly masturbatory patent fantasies and genuinely disturbing shifts in policy. You quoted the whole, you kill people and break things for a living. I mean, I can't even imagine what was in their thought bubbles, right?
Oh, yeah. And the idea, later in the thing I say, I think about the general that traveled 20 hours from Manila to listen to this. It's just absurd. It was just showing off. It was just to try to make content. And fortunately the generals didn't break their oath and cheer, because they're not there to cheer a president. They're there to support the Constitution. Yeah. And that's, you could tell, threw Trump completely off. He's just not used to being, not worshipped and yes man to death by everybody, right? Yeah. You guys are fun. I mean, you said Hegseth was wantonly, flagrantly insulting, whether it was his fat-shaming rant or his even stupider attack on beards. What was that about? As two guys with beards I'm talking to. Yeah, right. I don't know. It was just weird. It was like, I'm sure it's Trump. Trump doesn't like beards, although I guess he lets J.D. Vance get away with it. Yeah, I was going to say, with the vice... Okay, I can't. Yeah, I can't anymore.
J.D. Vance's beard is just to hide a weak chin.
We have a little bit of breaking news.
Two of them. Two of them, yes. Two weak chins.
The Supreme Court has rejected an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh.
What? The story goes on to say it's probably to avoid getting into a sexual thing with sexual discussion with about Donald Trump.
Oh, that'd be awkward for Clarence Thomas. Yeah. And Brett Kavanaugh.
Well,
sure. Yeah. Rudeness.
I wish you'd have left it. I wish you'd have followed through with the sentence you were saying, which is they don't want to get into a sexual thing with Donald Trump. Yeah. I mean, the Supreme Court's doing everything except get into a sexual thing with Donald Trump.
Here comes the hummus. So Kristen Welker yesterday said to Mike Johnson, as you know, many Democrats have looked at your move. They say the House is not in session because you don't want to swear in this newly elected Congresswoman, Democratic Congresswoman from Arizona, who would be the critical vote to release the Epstein files. How do you respond to that charge? Johnson, it's totally absurd. It's absurd. This has nothing to do with that. It's another red herring. Red herring is your drinking game for Mike Johnson yesterday. I mean, that's exactly it. Thomas Massie said it, the Republican. He said that's this whole shutdown is about for them, right? Yeah. That and hoping that, undocumented people can die in emergency rooms, I guess, and our healthcare, premiums can double so rich people can keep their tax break. That's it.
not to get all John Fugelsang for a second,
Oh,
but
please.
I am shocked at that their crosses that they hang around their necks just don't burst into flames and sear their chests when they say, "Oh no, we shouldn't let undocumented migrants into emergency rooms."
I can't. Okay, here's some good news. A new KFF poll. Americans want Congress to extend the expiring enhanced Obamacare credits by a whopping margin of 78% to 22%, a remarkable political entrenchment for subsidies that were a heavy political lift for Democrats just a few years ago.
People like money. Gee, there's a big surprise for them.
We can barely afford our premiums now, let alone them doubling, right? I mean, who can afford that? Nobody.
Right. Yeah. It's the way in which Republican policies are so unpopular is probably the only thing that's preventing us from going into full fascism at this point.
Yeah.
Because when fascists took over other countries, they did it with some kind of popular support. They don't have popular support.
Yeah, and Rude, I'm glad to see I don't have that poll in front of me, right, Chris? But the by a wide margin, Americans blame Republicans, as they should, for this shutdown. I mean, you can't run all three branches of the government and blame the other party. And they left town. Democrats were still there, waiting to do the work, and the Republicans Trump's out golfing. The Republicans went on vacation. So here we are. I was going to say, by the way, Mia Farrow posted about this. The Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act was signed into law in 1986 by President Ronald Reagan. It was designed to ensure that people have access to emergency medical care regardless of their ability to pay. I mean, to me, that was another moral Rubicon. Not to Fugelsang you back after you Fugelsang me. Because that would be incestuous. But
yes, I know. We'll need to get a private room for some Fugelsang.
Yeah.
But, that's like some moral Rubicon we passed, right? We're really debating whether we let people die out in emergency rooms, right?
And can I just say...
Or bleed out, excuse me. What did I say?
Yeah, no, I just want to say, whether or not, whatever the law is, I want my tax dollars going to help sick people, no matter what their documentation is.
Yeah.
I don't care. I think that sick people should get help. And so this atheist is more Christian than most of the people that are wearing their useless crosses.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention them, Pope Bob from Chicago. I still call him that. I know, Leo, whatever. Pope Bob from Chicago. But they just... let's just Fugelsang again, because he's a best-selling author now, so we might all just quote him.
I know, he's out
endlessly.
of our league. He's totally out of our league.
I know. Kathy Griffin texted me for his info because she loved his book. He's fancy now. Best-selling author, John Fugelsang.
You want to hear his... Oh, let me let you go.
Anyway, I was going to say, but the Pope, echoed... welcome the stranger is one of the biggest, commandments in the Bible. And he just, but obviously, you're right. Caroline Levitt and the rest of them with their huge crosses, right? Just like, the Pope, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
and they're freaking out. There's probably going to be some good old fashioned anti-Catholic bias. We haven't had that in a while.
Yeah,
that's some old school KKK crap right there.
Yeah, unbelievable.
The thing I was going to say about Fugelsang was I was watching a preview to a documentary film that's coming out about the first sort of horror house that somebody created in
Hell House.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
First, no, a horror house, not like a church hell house.
Oh, okay.
It was like a horror, like some kind of Halloween thing.
Yeah.
And they were just showing clips of people interviewing celebrities, and there's young John Fugelsang interviewing Linda Blair in the middle of it. In the preview, I sent it to him saying, "You're everywhere now. I can't escape you."
He is Forrest Gump. He is everywhere. Watch old VH1. There he is.
Yes.
Young VJ John Fugelsang.
Looking like he's 15 years old.
I think he was.
Yeah.
All right. Love you, rudeness.
I wanted to talk to you both, Yahweh and Yesh, because I wrote a book, and it's about you guys, but it's really about some of your fans, the mean ones, the racist ones, the homophobe ones, the ones who don't like women. You guys come off really well in the book. Jesus, you come off really good in this book.
Yeah, I've heard that when people talk about the Bible, they tell me that God, you come off really well.
Said no one ever.
Jesus comes off really well. Yeah, no, God, you're very impressive, God. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you there's some moments, Almighty, where you're kind of the alcoholic stepgod. You know, if you know what I'm saying. But Jesus, he's chill throughout. Like he's proof of evolution.
But John, people have been twisting my message, right? And that's what this book is about.
It really is, Jesus. I mean, I've gone through this book of yours many times. You never said anything against the gays. You never said anything against women having to be forced to be pregnant. I mean, you're not against abortion. You're against the death penalty, Jesus. I know that. You're like your dad in that you tell us to welcome the stranger.
Yeah. I mean, the right people are twisting my message left and right, and we can't take it anymore. So we're so excited to have this book, a really rock solid resource to show people what the Bible actually says. And that's why we love you, John. You're spreading our true good word.
Simon & Schuster's Avid Reader Press presents Separation of Church and Hate, the bold, hilarious new book from John Fugelsang, available September 9th and on sale now at your local independent bookstore or your favorite non-evil website.